I got such kind of headache in the morning, at that time, what was the reason? So I mean to say, I will going to refer my previous history of similar kind of a situation. So my first objective will give me a alternative solution to it. So on the base of objective, I will going to structure the test to be applied and to be identified. And accordingly, I will going to frame my hypothesis. Now try to take a very small example, continue with the same example. I mean to say headache. My objective is to find out the reason for my headache and how I will going to find out this thing with the help of my previous history or with the help of a detail check. There might be a fourth possibilities also. There are some disease which have earlier symptom of headache, and therefore I will going to explore those things. So what should be my hypothesis related to this objective? That is, there is no significant difference in the headache before and now. So I am going to compare my headache with my earlier situation. So on the basis of that, now when I frame the hypothesis, now I will going to select my test. Remember one thing, whenever I will going to talk about there is no significant difference, I will going to use a test of difference. There are three types of test: test of difference, test of relationship, and test of prediction. So when I talk about test of relationship, we have parametric and non-parametric. And when I talk about test of relationship, I have a correlation as well as, I have two types of correlation: Karl Pearson as well as Spearman correlation. And when I talk about prediction, under prediction, I have all types of regression model: multiple regression, simple regression, top-bit regression, panel regression. They all are used for prediction. Now let's see how to structure objective of the study. How we can going to finalize, how we will going to set our objectives. Before setting an objective, we have to see some other aspects of the research. Let's see, based on the review of literature, a gap analysis is made. What do you mean by gap analysis? Anybody from your side? Just I have given the example of gap analysis.
Difference between past, previous, and current.
Okay, okay. But current you have not done, you will going to do it. Gap analysis with reference to review of literature is that over the period of time, what are the changes in the review of literature? Given a small example, let's talk about a review of literature related to struggle of PhD students. Struggle of PhD student while doing their research. This is my type of a study. In that, I have to do a review of literature. So what kind of review of literature I will do? I will try to find out how many people have done their PhD, and on the basis of that, I will going to collect the data from there. The data can be collected with the help of questionnaire, or with the help of interview, or with the help of observation, or with the help of their recording their experience. Now, I got my first sample, the person who did their PhD in the year 1960s. Then I selected a person who done their PhD in 1970s, 80s, 19. And similarly, recently who have completed their PhD. So I will try to find out a difference between their struggle. And that may going to help me to identify my research objective. Remember one thing, research objective always come out from the research gap. my research gap is to find out or to know the lacuna in the current education system. Or I can say there is a gap between old education policy and new education policy. And I want to study that. So I have identified some gap between new and old education system. And on the basis of that, I want to conduct my study. Between old and new education system. And as I said in the beginning, my hypothesis will go to objective. So my hypothesis, we can similarly, we can also have hypothesis in working form. Like there is a significant similarity between old and new. This is also a type of framing a hypothesis. But now the review of literature have given me a gap. And this gap analysis will going to help me to structure my objective of the study. As I said, from the review of literature, I came to know that the people who have done their PhD in 60s or in 70s or in 80s, they have done their PhD as per that time education policy. So now under current education policy, we require so many credit to earn. We require at least to publish some papers. We require to conduct some pilot study. We require to present some paper. But during those education policy or those days education policy may not have such kind of a criteria. So my important gap analysis is the difference between two education policies. And that difference is significant or not. Otherwise, we have changed the structure of education, but still we are getting a same output. It means there is no significant difference in the educational structure, though we have changed the syllabi, though we have changed the policies, though we have changed the grading or marking or evaluative system, still we are getting a similar kind of a product in the market. Second thing which we have to focus is while structuring the objective, we have to take utmost care that our objective should have a variable which can be measurable and can be find out a relationship. Remember one thing, whenever we will going to set or we will going to finalize or make our objective should have variable. For example, when I say to evaluate the average height of the participant, so here height is a variable. I hope you people are aware what is a variable, but just to give a very short view, variable is something which keeps on varying. Okay, or any data which a researcher want to record, and that always vary. Those data which keeps on varying. Like if I want to record height of the participant, height of the participant will not be same. But when I say participant is a homogeneous crowd. They all are aspirant of research. So there is some homogeneity in their characteristic. And therefore, we say whenever we want to do a research, there are two types of research. One, taking a consideration of homogeneous population, or second, we have taking a consideration of heterogeneous population. And accordingly, we have a different sampling technique. So setting a objective requires a very scientific approach. So here I have to identify or I have to select a variable which I really want to study or I really want to measure. Remember one thing, we always study the characteristic of the respondent, not the respondent. I mean to say, suppose I want to study Shri Amitabh Bachchan. So I will not going to study Amitabh Bachchan. I will want to study the characteristic of the Amitabh Bachchan. His height, his weight, his body structure, his acting style. This all are a byproduct of a person. So you should know the variable. And I said in the first, in the beginning itself, through primary review of literature, our objective is to identify variable in our study. And my objective, my hypothesis, everything will roam around my variable. And objective is a combination of many things. We have a two variables. Sometimes we have variable plus constant variable. We have a context also. We have two variable at the same time, three variable at the same time, or we may have only a single variable. So here I have an example to determine factor influencing repurchase intention of Haldiram product. So anybody from your side want to attempt this example, which one is variable? Now let's see, when I have set this thing to determine, this is a proper formulation of objective. So my objective is to determine factor influencing repurchase intention of Haldiram product. My study may be, मेरा study ऐसा भी हो सकता है, a study on factor influencing repurchase intention of packet food with respect to Haldiram. And out of that, this is the main title of my study. My first objective is to determine the factor influencing repurchase intention of Haldiram product. So which one is variable here? Which factor or which variable I want to study? Whether repurchase intention or Haldiram product or factor influencing, what exactly I want to study? Yes, come on, until unless you don't participate, you will not going to understand the concept. Though the concept is very simple, but little technical. Okay, leave it. I will going to explain to you. Look at here. Factor is variable because a researcher want to record the factors. Factor can be recorded with the help of Likert scale, and in that also I can make a use of reflective scale, the Likert scale, or sometime I can also able to use formative Likert scale depending on my study. And let's see, repurchase intention is my context. Okay, so I want to study the factor influencing what? Purchase intention, or factor influencing the choice of investment, or factor influencing to select mode of transportation. So here, what is my context? That I am not interested to record, but I am recording factors with respect to purchase intention. And here, Haldiram is a constant variable. Why constant variable? Because when I say with respect to Haldiram product, that means in all my study, I will going to conduct my study keeping Haldiram as an important or a constant variable. Because when I study the Haldiram, I will going to study the packet food of Haldiram, all varieties. Is this clear? Let's move further. Never write objective as to study the concept of the consumer. So what I'm saying, your objective should not be to study the concept, to study the basic, to study the structure, or to study the history of consumer behavior, that you will going to do by default. Because in review of literature, you will going to study the concept, you will going to study their behavior, you will going to study the past, research where you will get all these things. So don't write this kind of objective where you want to study, or you want to, find out, or you want to know the concept or history or something like that of your main variable. Never write objective as to give suggestion and recommendation. Very good. There are many research theses where we can able to find out last objective is to provide or to suggest or to give suggestion and recommendation. Remember one thing, nobody is asking you to give a suggestion or recommendation. You are not giving. If you want that you should get a degree, by default you have to give a suggestion, because people will going to ask you, if you have done a PhD, what is the outcome of your research? What I have realized, that is my suggestion. Okay, so objective like to give a suggestion or to give a recommendation is not an object. Your objective will be determine the tool of test or analysis of data. When you will going to write down your objective, use appropriate word. For example, whenever we want to record or whenever we want to check, we always write a word to evaluate the satisfaction level of participant of this workshop. So here I will going to check the satisfaction level. So instead of using a word check, I have used an appropriate word to evaluate. Okay, or to find out satisfaction level. That means I will going to get it recorded, going to analyze, and after analyzing, I will going to interpret my data, and accordingly, I will going to present my data. If I'm going to follow so many process, you cannot write a word like to study the satisfaction level. Satisfaction level of a current or the respondent cannot be studied or cannot be, identified. It is always be evaluated. So always use appropriate word while setting your objectives. Next. Okay, there are some people who are also responding on the chat. Okay, so I will also go to have a look on the chats in between. Again, I have example here to compare factor influencing repurchase intention of Haldiram and McDonald product. So here I have a two product and I want to compare their repurchase intention. So here I cannot use word like to find out the factor influencing repurchase intention of Haldiram and McDonald product. If I want to see the differences, I have to compare. So similarly, if I have this kind of a objective, I think you people have got an idea what should be my hypothesis. Here I have used a word to compare the factor influencing repurchase intention. Factor is my variable. Repurchase intention is my context. Okay? Now let's see. Here we don't have a concept like constant. Now Haldiram product and McDonald product. Now my hypothesis will be there is no significant difference there is no significant difference in the factor influencing repurchase intention. So objective is always complement hypothesis or vice versa. Let's see further. Here, when I talk about, yes, when I talk about repurchase intention, in the last slide we have verified or we have seen or we have found out that repurchase intention context. Okay. Similarly, when I talk about my variables, now my variable earlier was factor influencing, and in this case also factor influencing is also a variable, but here I don't have a constant variable because here we have a two items. When I use a word contest or constant, constant means only one. Actually, when we talk about types of objective, basically, this is just a framing of a objective that makes them different from each other. Otherwise, in practically, there is no concept like differences. I just said only the how you are going to set your objective will going to make a difference. So here I have written three differences: univariate, bivariate, and multiple variate or multivariate. Let's see what is the difference. Difference is very slight. In univariate, we have uni. Uni means one variable. And in second bivariate, we have bi. Bi means two variables. And we use a third term, multivariable. We have a three variable which we have taken for study. Let's see in detail. As I've already said, univariate means one, bivariate means two, and multivariate means three or more than three variables. Now, let's find out whether your objective which you are going to use for your study having which type of settings or which type of objective you have. I have to say whether it is a univariate, bivariate, or multivariate. We will going to see an example. Example number one: to study the satisfaction level of a participant in research methodology workshop at DAV College. DAV College. Anybody from your side would like to attempt? Let's see. To study the satisfaction level. Though here I should have used a word to evaluate or to find out satisfaction level of the participant. Yes, anybody from your side? No one? Just some people are responding in the chat box. Factor in here we don't have any idea which one is a variable here. Pardon, ma'am. Can you tell once again?
Satisfaction level of participants.
Satisfaction level is one of the important variable. Very good. Apart from that, acha, which one is constant variable here? Remember one thing, the area of study is always a constant variable. Yes, Steffi, ma'am, I think you want to say something. Okay. Anybody else? Remember one thing, in the primary FESA, we have realized here we have only one variable. Is it
RM workshop?
that I will tell you, ma'am. RM workshop is not a a variable. It is a constant variable.
Okay, sir.
RM workshop at DAV colleges constant variable. Okay.
Okay,
I may have set objective like to study the satisfaction of participant in RM workshop. If I change a place, then a place become a constant variable. It is not like that. The entire thing will become a constant variable, like RM workshop at DAV. Okay. So here in the primary FESA, we have realized we have only one variable. And what is that? Satisfaction level. Let's see whether satisfaction level is a variable or not. Yes, we have only one variable, satisfaction level. As I said, participant in RM workshop at Patkar College or at DAV College or at Achievers College is a constant variable. So just I change a name of the college, my study will be different. But satisfaction level of the participant of DAV College, satisfaction level of a participant of Patkar College, or satisfaction level of Achiever College are different. But the RM workshop may be the same. I mean to say content which is there in the RM workshop, or sometimes participants are also same. Let an example. Suppose there are 5% or 5 participants who have attended workshop in DAV College also, Patkar College also, and Achiever College also. Similar type of program. The structure was same, the speaker was same, the Zoom platform was same, the timing was same. Still, the satisfaction level varies. And therefore, participant in RM workshop is always considered as a constant variable, whereas satisfaction level is variable. So which variable it is? Which type of variable it is? When we want to manipulate any variable, it is called as dependent variable. Listen once again. If we want to manipulate, if we want to predict, or we want to check, is called as dependent variable. So here we want to evaluate the satisfaction level. Now coming to second example. Is this example is clear? Here we have a second example to study the perception of consumer for online shopping with respect to Mumbai city. Yes, anybody from your side? By default, first of all, let's talk about constant variable. Which one is constant variable?
Sir, with respect to Mumbai city?
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. With respect to Mumbai city, remove the word with respect to. So,
Okay, Mumbai city.
Consumer of Mumbai city is a constant variable. Because by default, from whoever I will going to collect a responses should be a consumer of Mumbai only. If any consumer which is outside Mumbai is an outlier for me. Outlier means that will going to spoil my data, and the data processing says you should always remove or eliminate outliers. तो यहाँ पर एक चीज तो क्लियर हो गई है, कंज्यूमर of Mumbai city is constant. Now tell me which one is variable?
Perception of consumers.
Perception of consumer. Okay, absolutely correct. So perception is a Which type of variable? Perception is which type of variable?
Dependent variable.
Absolutely correct. Dependent variable. Remember one thing, in the research, it is a complete story of two variables, dependent and independent variable. हमारे पास दो ही जो वेरिएबल है जिससे पूरी स्टोरी तैयार होती है, डिपेंडेंट एंड इंडिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल. Independent variable is a script of the movie. Script never changes. Actor may change, actors may change, director may change, but script remain constant. Okay, so script will not change. Independent variable means the variable which do not change, which is as it is, as per the situation or as per the geographical location or as per the climate, whatever it may be. Independent variable never changes. But any variable which changes as per the change in the circumstances, and here circumstances is independent variable, it is called as dependent variable. And therefore, in the last slide also I said, a variable which we want to manipulate, we want to control, we want to predict, or we want to evaluate are called as dependent variable. Is it clear? Let's move to the third example. So, sorry, this second example is also an example of univariate because we have identified only one variable. Coming to example number 3, yes, an empirical study on influence of income on buying behavior of consumer for branded garment.
The constant variable is branded garments.
Absolutely.
And influence of income and buying behavior of consumers.
Meenal ma'am, you are absolutely correct. I just want to know how you have identified that income and buying behavior is a variable.
So because reading by the line itself, influence of income comes as one variable and buying behavior. These are the two different characteristics.
Yes, the golden rule says.
Okay.
The golden rule says demographic factor is always a variable. And I think you people are aware what is a demographic variable. Like your age, your gender, occupation, qualification, income, this all are
Demographic.
These all are variables. And buying behavior is also a variable. But now I want to ask a question. Which type of variable it is? Definitely we have two variables. This is called as bivariate.
Bivariate variable.
Yes. But which type of variable we have? We have two variable, income and buying behavior. So which type of variable it is? I know
Dependent.
everything. I know you people knows everything, but only thing is that we are not try to express ourselves. Yes, Siddhi.
Dependent variable.
Which one is dependent?
Income and buying behavior.
Okay. Good. Anybody else want to contribute to the discussion? और कोई अपने सुझाव रखना चाहता है? Yes.
Sir,
Yes, ma'am.
buying behavior is dependent variable or income? No.
Again, golden rule comes in the picture. I said
Okay.
demographic factor is variables, and I have said the incomplete word. The complete word is demographic factor is always independent variable. Why it is independent variable? Suppose if I am a respondent, when you are asking my question, my age may change. No, अगर आपने आज मुझे पूछा, कल पूछा, परसों पूछा, 15 दिन के अंदर पूछा, my age will remain same. हाँ, but if you are asking me question after 40 years, I mean to say, if you are doing longitudinal study, then nothing is independent, all are dependent. Here we are talking about those kind of research which have some time bound. So your income may not change in a year, your age may not change in a year, your occupation may not change in a year. ऐसा नहीं हर 15-15 दिन में अगर आप ऑक्यूपेशन चेंज कर रहे हो, इसका मतलब यू आर नॉट having any occupation, you are just a freelancer. Your qualification will not change in a year, and your gender will not change any time on this planet till you are alive. So here we have a bivariate, objective, and here I don't know whether you've identified or not. We want to see the impact of one on the another. Study on influence of income on buying behavior. Means if you have a more money, maybe your buying behavior is different. Suppose I have a limited salary, or I have a one particular amount of salary. I went to the market to buy a pant. I might be buying a pant of a lower brand like cotton, or might be a pant of Decot, or might be a pant which is of a little low brand, Peter England. But if I have a huge salary and handsome salary, whenever I am going to buy a pant, I definitely going to buy some expensive brands like Arrow, or might be like Allen Solly or Raymond. These are expensive brand. So income always going to influence your buying behavior. So this is a bivariate, and here whenever we will going to use any test, whether a parametric or non-parametric, we will going to use those tests which have a two sample. अगर हम metric test use करेंगे तो हम कौन सा use करेंगे? Two sample test, whatever it may be, two sample test. And जब भी हम इसकी बात करेंगे नॉन पैरामेट्रिक की, अगेन वी विल गोइंग टू यूज टू सैंपल.
Employee performance is a constant variable.
Okay. Yes.
Well,
Only one
here
variable.
there are independent variables.
Two independent variable. Acha, which one?
One is
Antecedents of.
impact of employee performance.
मैडम एक चीज आप समझिए, जब भी आप ऑब्जेक्टिव फ्रेम करेंगे, you should know the characteristic of your variable. You should know what exactly you want to study. Let's see, here I've said a study on the antecedent of employee engagement, okay, and the impact on employee performance. So here, how many variables we have?
Two.
Two variable. Very good, Sadiq sir. Very good. Two variable. पहला variable employee engagement, and second is
Employee
employee performance.
performance.
आप एम्प्लॉय एंगेजमेंट का इम्पैक्ट किस पे देखना चाह रहे हो? एम्प्लॉय परफॉर्मेंस.
Performance.
Yes.
Yes.
So here, this is a concept of finding out impact of one variable on the another variable. So here we have a best test to use, which is known as regression model. If under employee engagement, you have 2-3 elements or 2-3 factors, then it becomes a multiple regression model. If we have only one variable under one, only one factor, or only one indicators under employment engagement, then we will going to use simple regression model, because we want to see the impact of one on the another. Means we are forecasting, we are predicting. Let's see, we have a two variables here, employee engagement and employee performance, and both are dependent or independent.
One is independent, another is dependent.
Yes, but which one is independent?
Employee engagement.
Absolutely correct. Because you want to see the impact on employee performance. So I said once again, any variable which you want to manipulate, you want to study, you want to check, you want to test is dependent variable. So are we going to check employee engagement? No, we will only going to record employee engagement, but we want to see the impact on employee performance. So employee performance, how they are changing, or whether there is a change in the performance of the employee or not, that we want to study, then it becomes a dependent variable. So independent is employee engagement and dependent variable is employee performance. So this is in case of bivariate objective. Coming to example number 5, I have lots of examples. I will going to give you all type of example covering univariate, bivariate, multivariate. Yes, to study satisfaction level of ABC policy in ICICI Bank of Noida 23 branch. So we have seen two univariate example, two bivariate example of objective. Now this is the fifth one. कौन सा है ये?
Again, two variable. First is satisfaction level. The second one is ABC policy.
Okay. Two variable. ठीक है. Next. Anybody else?
No, sorry. Satisfaction level of ABC policy, and second one is ICICI Bank of Noida 23.
Suppose if I want to study satisfaction level of ABC policy in ICICI Bank, but I am collecting a data from SBI Bank. चलेगा ना? Will it
No,
work?
sir.
नहीं
No, sir.
चलेगा
The bank is different.
because my ICICI Bank is a constant ना. Data सारे मुझे
Right.
ICICI के चाहिए और एक ही
Yes,
टाइप
sir.
के चाहिए, ABC टाइप के पॉलिसी के चाहिए. Whenever you read a statement, just analyze. Here important thing is I want to study, I want to evaluate, I want to find out, I want to identify what satisfaction level. एक वेरिएबल है मैडम. Constant is ABC policy of ICICI Bank. जैसे मैंने आपको थोड़ी देर पूछा whether SBI Bank customer will work for me, I said no. Similarly, I am collecting a data from ICICI Bank Noida branch only, but instead of ABC policy, I am collecting for XYZ policy. Will it work for me? No. So there is two basic conditions. from whoever I want to collect the information, or whoever be my respondent, but my question is with respect to ABC policy in ICICI Bank. That's all. So ABC policy in ICICI Bank is,
So means policy will not change because of that. That policy is constant.
yes, absolutely correct. Getting? ये कौन सा वेरिएबल हो गया आपका? Univariate. Sixth example is very interesting. Yes. Anybody want to try? Yes, Jagruti ma'am, you are correct. Satisfaction level is what we are measuring. Yes, come on, guys. This one is very interesting because this question have two answers. Let me know whether you can able to answer this question. To analyze the effect of satisfaction on repurchase intention and where in different countries, which cities? Different cities. Cities A, B, C. So here I am taking 3 cities.
So multivariate variable.
Okay. Can you give me a reason for that?
So effect of satisfaction, then on repurchase intention, and the third one, different cities. Not a single city is not considered here. Different cities are considered, A, B, and C. So total
Very
three.
good, ma'am. Absolutely correct, ma'am. Absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. This can be taken as bivariate or multivariate both. Why I'm saying bivariate? I can take satisfaction level and different cities as 2 variables. Okay. Same example I can take as a multivariate also. Same example I can take as a bivariate. But here the only difference is my study. Study का title क्या है? ठीक है? So sometime my study title will also give me a reason for bivariate and multivariate. Let's see here. This I have identified there are 3 variables here. Satisfaction, repurchase intention, different cities. If I omit my purchase intention, then it becomes a bivariate. अगर मैं कहता हूँ I want to study this also, then it becomes multivariate. My repurchase intention changes as per the city. As per the city. Let have an example. When you go to Uttarakhand, in the or during summer time, in the month of May, let us assume, you went to Dehradun or Mussoorie. Their temperature is around 8%, 9%, 10%. Okay. In the afternoon, you will feel little, 13, 14 degree, but in the night it will reach to 5 or 6 degree. Okay. Whereas in Mumbai, temperature in day is burning and in the night it becomes more miserable. So let's talk about purchase intention of cold drink bottle. So here I cannot take repurchase intention as my context because my repurchase intention will change from city to city. If I went to Dehradun, And if someone asks me एक कोल्ड ड्रिंक का बॉटल पिया दूसरा पी लो ऐसे नहीं यार बहुत हो गया because I'm not sweating, my body is not hydrated, so dehydrate. Okay, but when it comes to Mumbai, if after an hour if someone offer me another bottle of cold drink, definitely I will consume, or if I have money definitely I will go to buy it, isn't it? So same example can be taken as bivariate, or same example can be taken as multivariate. See the same example. Are you understanding what I am saying? Last two examples. I hope this time you will going to give me a absolutely correct answer. Influence of electronic monitoring on employee job satisfaction, stress, performance, and counter productivity work behavior of meta-analysis. This is very easy to identify, isn't it?
Multivariable.
Absolutely multivariate. How many variables are there? Let me check whether you have identified correctly or not.
Sir, in
Five.
first is electronic monitoring, second is employees' job satisfaction, third stress, fourth performance, and fifth one counterproductive work behavior.
Let's see. Congratulations, you are absolutely correct. So there are how many variables? 5 variables. आपको पता है stress is a dependent variable. Performance is a dependent variable. Counterproductivity is a counterproductivity work behavior is a
Dependent.
dependent variable. Employee job satisfaction is dependent variable.
Dependent.
There is only one independent variable, electronic monitoring.
Monitoring.
थोड़ा थोड़ा समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं आ रहा है?
Yes.
Thank you very much. This is all about objective. I have a third slide also that I will going to show at the end to correlate between objective and hypothesis. Let move to my second slide. Formulation of hypothesis. Can you see the screen?
Yes,
Okay.
sir, screen is visible.
Now, come on, tell me what is a hypothesis. I have taken more than 100 workshops, and in all the workshop I get some different answers, and that sometimes also me confused too. And because of that, I've read so many books, and definitely the meaning are different when hypothesis comes. But when you read in detail and try to analyze or try to interpret their wording, answer is same. Though they have
Hypothesis means a relationship between, it's kind of prediction. Prediction
Okay.
between relationship between different variables.
anybody else?
It is an explanation for something that has not been found.
Anything else?
It could be a statement where you think probably it's correct or wrong, and after your research, then you finally analyze it, like whether it is true or wrong as per the study and conclusion.
Anybody else?
Sir, it is a verifying statement where we want to conclude that how my variables are dependent on each other. What I have taken the variables, how they are correlated to each other. The thing that I have thought that is correct or not, to come on a conclusion.
Okay. Anybody else? So we have heard 4 points of view. The dictionary meaning of hypothesis is assumption. Okay. But in research, we never works on assumptions. Madam has said very correctly, hypothesis is a well-planned statement or well-designed statement. So I can say hypothesis is an assumption. It is an statement. It is an proposition. But it should be verified by relevant review of literature. Any assumption cannot be hypothesis. That should be testable. That should be measurable. That should be verified by relevant review of literature. And therefore, when you read a research paper in international repute journal, whenever they set any type of hypothesis, they give reference of 8, 9 author. Mr. A said this thing, Mr. B said this thing, Mr. C concluded this thing, Mr. Ford suggested this thing, and therefore my hypothesis is this and this. Means they going to stabilize the relationship with the previous study to make a statement. Suppose if I give a statement or I give an assumption that tomorrow I will fly in the cloud, is it possible? No. Then you will tell me, sir, assumption can be anything, and therefore it is an hypothesis. No. Assumption should be verified. Suppose if I have some magic power or I'm a Superman and I have took a air route previously also, or I know how to fly in the air and people have seen that, then yes, definitely what I'm saying is a hypothesis. But in the past no such thing happened, then it is just an assumption, not an hypothesis. So hypothesis is a tentative statement which every researcher want to test. And whenever we have a concept like null and alternative hypothesis, researcher always want to reject null hypothesis. And whenever we have a concept like working hypothesis or a directional hypothesis, working or directional hypothesis are same. Only thing is that their way of writing are different. If I'm setting those kind of a hypothesis, my entire focus or the researcher entire focus is to prove that statement, prove that hypothesis. So let's see. Hypothesis is a tentative statement or educated guess that can be tested through scientific research. It defines the relationship between two or more variables and serves as the foundation for further research and experimentation. Now, when I have used the word assumption, that is something which is very close to prediction. So what is the difference between hypothesis and prediction? I can say I have made a hypothesis that this time this particular government will not win the general election, or they will not going to form a government. And then I will say, let's see this, that was my hypothesis. But most of the people says that was your prediction. Instead of hypothesis, they will say prediction. What is the difference between prediction and hypothesis? Hypothesis is a statement to guide research experiment of a phenomena, whereas prediction is a guess of the outcome. What will happen in the phenomena is true, maybe false. It explains why something happens, because this is a scientific method of testing my statement, whereas in prediction it is just an analysis. आकलन जिसको बोलते हैं हिंदी में, पूर्व आकलन. It was a forecast and future event which we are predicting. In hypothesis, you write it using statement with variables, but in prediction there is no variable. It is just a statement. Okay, I can predict that one day we will have a technology where we can able to cover a distance between Earth and Moon in 20 hours or in less than 1 day. That is my prediction. But it can be hypothesis. No, hypothesis requires some evidential support, whereas prediction don't require. In hypothesis, we want to stabilize a relationship, or we want to find out the differences, or we try to find out the impact of one variable on the another variable. But in prediction, we just give a predictions. It just assumes that may or may not be there, and therefore research methodology work start with a word known as research. So research is a combination of a two word, research. So when you are searching the same concept again and again in a market with respect to different data set, with respect to different geographical location, with difference to different time frame, it is a new research. So in the research, you are searching the same concept with different dimension, different angle. Now in the world, there is a theory which is popping out very fastly, multiverse theory. How many of you heard about that? सुना है किसी ने?
Sir, can you repeat?
I said, nowadays, a word which is, very popular or, popping up in this world, multiverse, where, scientists have presented or coined a concept of multi-universe. Means if there is one Kuldeep here on the earth, there might be another similar Kuldeep which is living a similar parallel life in some other galaxy or in some other solar system. So there might be hundreds of Kuldeep which is living on this world, not this world, but the entire universe in different galaxy. Similarly, there might be different Siddhikis also there. And this is a kind of a hypothesis, not a prediction. And hypothesis is always be set with the help of a relevant documents, relevant information, relevant research. Let's move further. What make your hypothesis good hypothesis? Or what are the characteristics for a hypothesis to become a good hypothesis? First of all, you should have a solid question. When I say solid question means you should have a well-defined research gap. Second, you should know the background of the story. When I say background of the story, I mean to say review of literature. So you should know background. ये कॉन्सेप्ट कहाँ से आया, कब आया, किसने उसको कॉइन किया, कितनी स्टडी हो गई है, कैसे स्टडी हुई है, okay, and how many people have done, in which part of the country this study have done. Yeah, Jagruti ma'am, you are correct. Parallel universe. Third one is making sure that your hypothesis should be tested. As I said na, थोड़ी देर पहले मैंने कहा था, I want to set a hypothesis that tomorrow I will fly in the air. a fly on the cloud. Can you able to test this, my assumption? No. So if any statement which is not testable cannot be called as hypothesis. Very simple. So what we seen that you should have a solid research question in your pocket when you set up or when you frame a hypothesis. You should have a sufficient review of literature. Try to check whether you can able to test your hypothesis or not. If you can able to test, which test you will going to apply, whether parametric or non-parametric or any regression analysis or whether any correlation analysis, what exactly you will going to use there. And the fourth is you should know which variable in your study is independent or which study is dependent. पिछले स्लाइड में देखो हमने बड़ा क्लियर कट लिखा था, hypothesis is what? A statement we write using variables. So here we will going to use the word variable, but before using the word variable, we should know the characteristic of a variable, whether this variable is a dependent variable or a independent variable, जिसको हम कहते हैं cause and effect. Moving further, let's see. I tell you one thing. If you ask me personally, this is a PPT which I made after reading so many books. Different books have different types of hypotheses. But if you ask me, I can say there is only two types of hypotheses on this planet, that is null and alternate. Only two types of hypotheses. Which two types? Null and alternate. Suppose if I want to set my alternative hypothesis without any null hypothesis. Alternative का picture में आता है when there is a null hypothesis. Without a null hypothesis, you cannot able to set an alternative. But suppose I want to work only on the alternative hypothesis, then what it should be called? It should be called as working hypothesis. It should be called as working hypothesis. Now, working hypothesis can be set as a directional hypothesis or non-directional hypothesis or simple hypothesis or complex hypothesis. So in short, I mean to say there is only two types of hypothesis, null and alternative. Null means which do not make any statement, which do not give any tentative statement. Null is empty. It says, I don't know anything. I don't know anything. But alternative suggests some solution. Alternative says, I know something. So what they know, if you want to do a detailed study, then set a working hypothesis that this knows this. And this is as we have created a type of hypothesis. Let's see. When we talk about null hypothesis, it predicts there will be no relationship with variable. I don't know anything. As I said. कोई भी चीज के लिए मैं ना बोलूंगा. There is no significant difference. There is no significant relation. There is no significant impact. Every time I will say there is no. I don't know anything. If someone asks you what is the average height of the class, I will say I don't know. So if I want to set a working hypothesis like a null hypothesis, I can say the average height of this classroom equal to not equal to 45. So it is null hypothesis. Second is alternative hypothesis. Alternative hypothesis predict to disapprove null hypothesis. Alternative का काम क्या होता है? बोलना हाँ जो पता है. If null hypothesis say I don't know the relationship, what alternative do? Alternative will say yes, I know the relationship. But after that, which kind of a relation it is? Whether they are friends, whether they are brother sister, whether they are son or mother, whether they are father or daughter, what kind of a relationship? This is not alternative defines. Alternative only says that if null goes, I am there. ठीक है, इफ नल गोस आई विल फ्लाई, ठीक है, जिसको हम अच्छे तरीके से बोलते हैं इफ नल इज लो अल्टरनेटिव हैज टू गो। मतलब अगर आपका पी वैल्यू 0.05 से कम हो तो अल्टरनेटिव रिजेक्ट हो जाता है। सो व्हेन नल इज लो alternative has to go. Second is directional hypothesis. Let's see. Indicate a direction of relationship. Let put this three type of hypothesis in one example. Suppose I want to know the relationship between A and B. मैं जानना चाहता हूँ A और B में क्या रिलेशन है। My null hypothesis will say there is no significant relationship between A and B. उसने तो कह दिया मुझे पता ही नहीं कोई रिलेशन है, ठीक है। What alternative will say there is a significant relation, कुछ तो है, but what direction says A is a brother of B, okay, A is a father of B, so I have given direction, so this is a direction. What is a non-directional? Non-directional indicate that exist but do not specify direction. इसका मतलब there is a relationship or there is a significant association between A and B. This is non-directional. I say there is an association, लेकिन कौन सा है? अगर मुझे पता है कि ये relation है, then it becomes a direction. Now let's see. Complex. Predict the relationship between two variables. So simple. There is no significant difference. There is difference. Complex. So complex hypothesis which have two or more two variable means I mean to say it is either a bivariate hypothesis or multivariate hypothesis. So it can be set either in the null form, either in the directional form. Simple hypotheses only have one or two variables. Let's see the step in the formulation of hypothesis. Hypothesis भी आप वैसे ही frame करते हो जैसे आप objective करते हो. Only thing is that here we also have to consider objective while framing a hypothesis. Let's see. You have to define your research question. I mean to say you should know your research gap. You do review of literature. Two यहाँ पर है. Don't get confused. Identify research question, then go for review of literature. Review of literature के बाद आप क्या करोगे? You will go to identify variable 3, and once you have identified the variable, you try to frame a hypothesis. ठीक है? Once you have framed the hypothesis, hypothesis is framed with the help of objective, and once you have framed the hypothesis, you can write the hypothesis. Very simple. No rocket science here. How many of you know about the concept of type 1 and type 2? Yes, anybody from your side? Remember one thing, when your null hypothesis is correct और आपने उसको रिजेक्ट कर दिया, जो सही है उसको आपने गलत बोल दिया, टाइप 1, और जो गलत था उसको आपने सही कह दिया है, टाइप 2 है. घुमा फिरा के बात एक ही है. I mean to say, suppose if I say there is no significant relationship between gender and सब लोग कुछ ऐसा बता रहा हूँ, there is no significant difference between gender और किसकी बात करूं मैं, जेंडर से क्या प्रभावित नहीं होता है दुनिया में, हर चीज जेंडर से ही डिफाइन होती है, बट एनीथिंग व्हिच इज नॉट अफेक्टेड बाय जेंडर इज Let's assume by a mode of transportation. Okay. So if I say there is no significant relation between, there is no significant relationship between gender and selection of mode of transportation in null hypothesis. And 90% this hypothesis should be accepted. But I don't know how I have collected data or how I have set up my hypothesis. I got or I rejected my null hypothesis. This is called as type 1 error. Means universally truth, if you deny, then it becomes type 1 error. And type 2 error is opposite to that. Means you have rejected alternative hypothesis. Or I'd say you have accepted a null hypothesis which should not be. That is type 2 error. ये टेबल से आपको आइडिया लग जाएगा. माई एक्चुअल शुड बी ट्रू. मेरा एक्चुअल ट्रू था, मुझे ये एक्सेप्ट करना चाहिए था, लेकिन मैंने इसको क्या कर दिया, रिजेक्ट कर दिया. सो दिस विल बिकम माई टाइप 1 error. मैंने सिलेक्ट किसको किया, इसको. लेकिन अभी मेरा एच ए अल्टरनेटिव सही है, लेकिन मैंने गलती से नल को एक्सेप्ट कर लिया. दिस इज टाइप 2. सो व्हेन यू एक्सेप्ट wrong null hypothesis, it is type 2 error. And when you accept wrong alternative, it is called as type 1. या फिर इसको दूसरे तरीके से कहता हूं, ट्रू हाइपोथेसिस को रिजेक्ट कर दिया तो टाइप 1, और फॉल्स हाइपोथेसिस को एक्सेप्ट कर लिया तो टाइप 2. This is to find out the normality of the data. But here also we have a concept like type 1, type 2 error. Okay? This is entire correct area. But I have got this, or I have said this area is correct. Then it is type 1. Means rejection is small, but you accepted that as a correct, then type 1. And in type 2, again the same thing. You have to select this area, but you have selected this area. So this is something to null and this is something related to alternate. Let's see common pitfalls to avoid. If you really want to set a good hypothesis or you want to frame a good hypothesis, you have to avoid 3 important pitfalls. Number 1 is vagueness. Your ambiguous language should be avoided. You should not use double-barreled statement. What is double-barreled statement? Statement which have 2 answers. So avoid those kind of a statements. We have a overcomplicated variables. Those variable which is next to impossible to measure. Don't try to check those variables. Or break those variable into small part and then try to test it. Biasness. Researcher should be different from the research. If you and your research become one, then there will be your personal biasness, which will going to spoil your research. So your biasness should not be there. You should act like a neutral person. Importance of hypothesis. The importance of hypothesis that it will going to guide your research. As I said, it will provide a parameter to your research. आपके research को भटक नहीं देगा यहाँ वहाँ पे. एक ही track पे चलेगा. Because you have set a direction for your study that you will going to check relationship between this and this, and you will going to find out difference between this and this variable, impact of this on that variable. So that much work you will do. Facilitate data collection. Yes, sometime your hypothesis will tell you which type of data you require. I mean to say, suppose I have set or I want to see the impact of one variable on the another variable, the best test to see the impact is regression model. So regression model is workable when we have a metric data and that is too normally distributed. So I will going to collect my questionnaire in ratio scale. Promote critical thinking. Definitely, hypothesis will going to encourage your logical, reasoning ability, as well as it will going to enhance your problem solving ability. It tried to bridge a gap between theory and practical. This is something related to hypothesis. I need 5 minutes just to tell you the relationship between hypothesis and objectives. Let's see. This is a slide which I use for only 1 hour lecture. Let's see. When I say objective, what is objective? Research objective will going to articulate the purpose and goal of the study. They should be clear, specific, and achievable. There are two types of objective: general objective and specific objective. Here I have an example of general objective, which have a broad goal that outline the primary purpose of the research. Like example I have here, to analyze the impact of digital banking on consumer satisfaction in India. So this is a general objective. I am going to see the impact of overall digital banking on the consumer satisfaction. Now, when I move to the narrow objective breaks my digital banking into small area. Like to evaluate the influence of digital banking features on customer loyalty. So here I have taken one component of satisfaction is consumer loyalty, and in the digital banking also I have taken one of the feature. Second is to compare consumer satisfaction level between public and private bank. So this is a specific objective. So what is a characteristic of a specific objective? Narrow your goal that break down the general objective into measurable component. मैंने कहा था ना इससे पहले कि you should not take your hypothesis which is very vague or big. You have to break into small pieces. Similarly, same with the objective also, and typically starts with the action variables like identify, evaluate, compare, analyze, or determine. So what is the characteristic of a good objective? It should be very specific. What exactly you want to do. Measurable. You can able to record. You can able to study. You can able to collect the data on those. Achievable. You can achieve. I cannot set any objective which is next to impossible to find out. And it should be relevant. Time bound. It should be able to finish in a particularly decided period of time. Steps in formulating research objective. Identify your research problem. This is what we have already covered. Huh? I'm just brushing up the thing. Identify the research problem. Break the problem into sub-problems. Determine key variable to the study. Key variable कब आएगा? After doing your detailed review of literature. Align with your study scope and constraint. ठीक है? Use action verb. What is action verb? Action verb I have shown you here in the last slide. Look at here. I have used word identify, evaluate, compare, analyze, or determine. This is called as action variables. Let's see hypothesis. As I said, statement that predict the relationship between variables or derive from existing knowledge or theories. यानी relevant theory होना चाहिए उसमें. So type of hypothesis we have null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. This is also we have seen. Null means assume no effect or relationship, whereas alternative always feel that there is a effect or relationship between variables. This is the example. There is no significant relationship between employer training and productivity, whereas alternative remove a word no, and therefore it becomes there is a relationship. Characteristic of a good hypothesis: it should be testable, clear, and precise, based on the theory or prior knowledge. So you cannot set a hypothesis without a relevant or supporting theory. Includes independent and dependent variable. As I said, independent, dependent variable, we used to call them as a cause and effect. Cause and effect variable. Example, increase study hour, that is independent variable, lead to higher academic performance. This is called as directional hypothesis. Steps in formulating hypothesis. Here we have, first of all, we have to go for a review of literature so that we can identify a gap. And from the gap, we will able to know our research problem. And that problem we break into small pieces. And again, we're going to go for a review, systematic review of literature to make our objectives. Define the variable. So variable is defined when you go for systematic review of literature. Which one is dependent variable and which one is independent variable? In your study, how many dependent variable are there? How many independent variable are there? Apart from these two variables, there are also various type of variable like mediating variable, moderating variable. We have extravagance variable. We have confounding variable. We have composite variable, dummy variable. All these variable plays very important role. But as we see in the movie, only actor and actress, we most of the time give less importance to the supporting actor or actress. But this supporting actor and actress make the entire movie more interesting. Similarly, in the research also, we only highlight on dependent and independent variable, but this supporting variable really plays very important. Stabilize a relationship or prediction. कौन सा relationship establish करते हैं? Hypothesis try to establish a difference, establish a relationship, or try to stabilize differences, or try to stabilize impact of one on the another, try to stabilize predictions. Ensure hypotheses are specific and testable. Validate with pilot study or expert feedback. Why we do pilot study? There are many reasons for that. Sometimes we do pilot study for pre-testing of questionnaire. And whatever data we will get from that questionnaire, we try to see the Cronbach alpha to check out the validity and reliability of my questionnaire. So once the instrument is correct, then we try to test our hypothesis to know that whether we have recorded the desired result or not, or desired data or not. Sometimes my question have misunderstood by my respondent and they have responded something different. And accordingly, my hypothesis should be a wrong test or wrong result. Type 1, type 2 error. Though the stabilized theory says this should be accepted, but my data says it should be rejected. So I have to again revisit my data to see whether there is some intervency or there is some discrepancy which is there in my question, or my question may give a wrong impression, or question is not properly asked, that I have to repeat. Example of objective and hypothesis. My objective is, first of all, let's see the main title of my study. Main title of the study is Impact of Employee Training on Employee Performance. So I want to study impact of employee training on employee performance. So my objective is to evaluate effect of training on employee performance. And my hypothesis, if I set in the way of null alternative, there is no significant effect of training program on employee performance. And alternative will be there is, it should be A, huh? By mistake it is written no. There is a significant effect. So let's see, there is close relationship between hypothesis and objective. From here, everything is similar. To evaluate the effect on training. So here I've said there is no significant effect of training program on employee performance. Importance of clear objective and hypothesis. Agar dono clear ho, then it will provide clarity and direction in the research. It will going to help you in structuring research methodology. You can able to write down your research design properly. You will going to understand in a more appropriate way. Your concept should be very clear exactly you want to do in your research. Ensure focus on key variable. So आपके study में जो key variable आप उसके आजू बाजू घूमोगे, you will not going to work on some other variable which is least important in your study. Facilitate data collection analysis. Definitely once you have given importance to your key variable, you will going to ask a question related to a key variable, and accordingly you will going to collect the data from the respondent. Add in drawing meaningful conclusion. Now platform is open for questions. So last 10 minutes is only for questions around. Anybody want to ask anything? There is one question from Jagut ma'am. Objective of the study should be seen in the research title. Absolutely, absolutely. Because whatever your research title, from that only you will going to make your objective. यानी आप एक particular मान के चलो कि एक particular क्या मैं बताऊं आपको, एक particular पेंसिल है, ठीक है, उसी के छोटे छोटे 4 पेंसिल बना रहे. So your variable, both the variable is already there in the title itself. Only thing is that first of all you will want to evaluate this variable, then this variable, then you try to find out the relationship. So your title is important and your objective is a byproduct of your title.
Sir, as you also mentioned about the type 1 and type 2 error, so do you think that mostly because of the personal biasness of the researcher that they are not able to identify and they unconsciously tend to reject the real hypothesis and then accept the wrong one?
Absolutely, ma'am. In your question itself, you have answered your question. Whenever we take a PhD interview, when we ask a student what should be a tentative outcome, they will tell the entire story. Sir, this will going to reject this, this will going to reject. And we say, how you know in advance before doing a study? Your data may have some different understanding, ho sakta hai na? But they already have decided that I will going to reject this thing. And therefore, type 1, type 2 come into picture. But if your review of literature is strong and you have read 100 review of literature and all have said there is a positive impact of marketing on sales, okay, or advertisement of sales, then your study should also support. Otherwise, you have collected a wrong data, or your sampling technique is wrong, or your testing technique is wrong, or you have included your personal biasness. दो प्रकार की स्टडी होती है मार्केट में, one which is called as deductive and second is inductive. One theory tried to challenge the existing, so one research tried to challenge the existing theory, and second research is support the existing theory. तो आपने डिसाइड करने के आपने कौन सी theory approach आप अडेप्ट कर रहे हैं. Yes, anybody else? How to avoid confirmation biasness, sir? Madam, for that you have to do a review of literature and you have to make a conceptual framework from your review of literature. Once you have made a conceptual framework, you can make a beautiful diagram, and diagram से आपको समझ में आए इसका impact किस पे आ रहा है और आपने क्या क्या स्टडी करना है. उसके बाद में सब कुछ चीज अप टू द मार्क जाएगी. Anybody else?
I hope everyone's questions are answered. Anybody else would like to question? Please feel free, or else we proceed.
I think there is no further question. You can proceed, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Firstly, sir, thank you so much for such an enlightening session. Your insights have been immensely valuable and will undoubtedly guide and inspire us all. Uh, Now, I invite my colleague, Mr. Asif Sheikh, to deliver a formal vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Achievers College, I honored to deliver this vote of thanks as we conclude this insightful session under the National Level Faculty Development Program. Firstly, my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Kuldeep Sharma sir from KPB Hinduja College of Commerce for his enlightening talk on objectives and hypotheses. Your clarity and passion truly inspired us. A sincere thanks to our principal, Dr. C.A. Mahesh Bivandikar sir, for his unwavering supports, and to our vice principal, Ms. Sana Khan madam and Sophia D'Souza madam for their active involvement. We also thank our collaborative partners, Dr. Asha Bhatia from University AI and Dr. G.Y. Shitole sir from MCTA for their valuable contribution. Lastly, thank you to the all participants for your enthusiastic engagement. We look forward to many more such enriching sessions ahead. Now, I would like to request everyone to keep your camera on for group photo. Are we done, Jagruti ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you everyone once again for joining this session today. Now you can leave.
Thank you so much everyone for joining. Please submit both the quiz as well as the feedback form. Thank you once again, Kuldeep Sharma sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Have a nice day, everyone. Thank you.
Hello, Valencia ma'am. Can you hear
Yes,
me?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Am I
Please start.
audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Sure, ma'am. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Valencia Fernandez, Assistant Professor at Achievers College of Commerce and Management. And it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to Day 2 of Faculty Development Program on Research. This program is jointly organized by Universal AI University and Maharashtra Commerce Teachers Association in collaboration with Internal Quality Assurance Cell and Shodh Bodh Samiti of Achievers College of Commerce and Management. It is an honor to have with us today Dean of Research and Doctoral Programs at Universal AI University, Dr. Asha Bhatia, General Secretary of Maharashtra Commerce Teachers Association, Dr. G.Y. Shitore, Founder Principal Dr. C.A. Mahesh Bhivandikar Sir, and our Vice Principals Ms. Sana Khan and Ms. Sophia D'Souza. A special and warm welcome to our esteemed resource person, Dr. Kuldeep Sharma, Assistant Professor at KPB Hinduja College, and to all the distinguished faculty members joining us virtually today. At the outset, I extend my sincere gratitude to all our participants. Your collaboration has been instrumental in making this national level faculty development program a success. Before we move ahead with today's session on objectives and hypotheses, let me provide a quick recap of the previous session. Yesterday, Dr. Shraddha Bhome, principal of Tilak Education Society's JK College, delivered an insightful session on identifying research problems and research gaps. She emphasized the significance of well crafted research titles and outlined the key characteristics of an effective title. She also highlighted the role of literature review in shaping research problems and demonstrated how various AI tools can aid in reviewing literature and identifying gaps. The session was highly engaging and enriched with practical examples that made the concepts more relatable for the participants. This faculty development program offers a vital platform for faculty to strengthen research skills, identifying research gaps, design studies, and gain hands on training in data analysis, research writing, and funding opportunities. To give us a better understanding of this FDP, I invite our Vice Principal and IQAC Coordinator, Assistant Professor Ms. Sana Khan.
Thank you, Valencia, madam. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to day 2 of our FDP on research, that is Shodh Bodh Karyashala. I hope yesterday's session on identifying research problems and gaps sparked new thoughts and helped all of us to look at our own research ideas with a fresh vision. Today, we focus on a very crucial stage in the research process, that is formulating clear objectives and hypotheses. Setting the right objectives gives direction to our study, and hypothesis helps us test assumptions with clarity and precision. As the saying goes, a goal without a plan is just a wish. In the same way, research without well-defined objectives can lack focus and impact. Today's session will guide us in shaping our research goals and framing hypotheses that are logical, testable, and relevant. We are fortunate to have a very knowledgeable resource person, Dr. Kuldeep Sharma sir, with us, who will guide us through the theoretical and practical aspects of this important phase of research. Let's stay curious, interactive, and open to learning. Wishing you all a productive and insightful session today. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, as we step into today's discussion, I would like to invite our founder principal, Dr. C.A. Mahesh Bhivandikar sir, to share his thoughts on the importance of today's session.
Thank you, Madam Valencia. Friends, it's indeed a great, proud privilege to be on this online platform to welcome all the participants throughout many colleges in Maharashtra. This special Shodh Bodh Karyashala is organized by the IQAC of Achievers College in great collaboration with Universal AI University and Maharashtra Commerce Teachers Association. Friends, Universal AI University and Maharashtra Commerce Teachers Association are always with us for the organizing such programs which are of great value to faculty members. And all teachers will agree that yesterday's session was great value addition to our knowledge in research. And today's speaker, Dr. Kuldeep Sharma, is stalwart in the profession, is a great personality, and is friend, philosopher, and guide to me and Achievers College at a whole. Friends, you will definitely gain knowledge out of the valuable insights that will be shared by Dr. Kuldeep Sharma sir. I welcome Dr. Kuldeep Sharma sir and wish all the participants happy learning and congratulate Shodh Bodh Samiti of Achievers College for organizing this wonderful session. Over to organizers. Thank you very much. Once again, welcome Dr. Sharma sir.
Thank you so much, sir. I now request my colleague, Ms. Rowena Joseph, to formally introduce today's resource person, Dr. Kuldeep Sharma, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to all participants, respected dignitaries, and fellow academicians joining us virtually for day 2 of our national level faculty development program. It is truly an honor and privilege to introduce our esteemed guest for today's session, Dr. Kuldeep Sharma sir, distinguished scholar, accomplished researcher, and esteemed educationist in the domain of commerce and accountancy. Dr. Sharma's academic journey reflects his unwavering commitment to lifelong learning. He holds a PhD in commerce from University of Mumbai, along with an MPhil and MBA in finance, and has qualified with UCNet. Further, enhancing his diverse academic profile, he is currently pursuing an LLB from Mumbai University. Dr. Sharma has been serving as an assistant professor in the Department of Accountancy at KPB Hinduja College of Commerce since 2009, where he has made a remarkable impact on students and fellow educators through his dedication and guidance. His academic and research contributions are truly remarkable. He has presented 91 research papers at various international, national, and university level conferences, published 63 papers, and authored 5 books, completed 5 minor research projects, and holds 7 patents. His scholarly excellence has been recognized with 12 Best Paper Awards. He has guided 19 MPhil and 11 PhD scholars, playing a vital role in shaping future researchers. His leadership extends beyond the classroom. He serves as Secretary of Indian Commerce Association, Treasurer of both Maharashtra Commerce Association and Indian Accounting Association Thane chapter, a recognized PhD and MPhil guide at University of Mumbai, a fellow of both ICA and MCA. Dr. Sharma has been honored with Saurabh Shivare Memorial Young Researcher Award 2016 and has received recognition at several prestigious academic forums, including the 65th All Indian Commerce Conference. He has also played a key role in curriculum development as a member and chairperson of various boards of study at University of Mumbai. We are truly privileged to have him with us today to speak on the crucial topic of objective and hypothesis, a foundation stone for all quality research. Let us all join together and extend a warm virtual welcome to Dr. Kuldeep Sharma sir. We are looking forward to gain valuable insights from you, sir. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. At the outset, let me thank Dr. C.A. Mahesh Bhivandekar sir and the organizing committee of Achiever College for inviting me to deliver a session on objective and hypothesis. Sir has correctly said that research is one of the important area where we all have to work a lot, required to work a lot. And the most important thing is that research is something which is also included in national education policy, and that will going to make a difference between new curriculum and the old education policy which we have studied. Now, without wasting my time, ma'am just informed that yesterday there was a lecture related to identification of variable and how to identify research gap. Now, today we will going to discuss about objective, how we will going to set, decide or frame our objective, and on the basis of that we have to formulate, we have to make, we have to draft our hypothesis. So there has to be a close association between objective and hypothesis. This both should go hand to hand, because objective can be achieved when you have a similar type of hypothesis. The hypothesis will going to give a parameter to your study, and that will control your study, and it will not derail your study from the main thing. So without wasting time, let me share my PPT. I hope you can able to see my entire screen.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, starting with objectives. First of all, I would like to ask you, yesterday there might be a session regarding identification of gap, isn't it? So I want to know how to identify a gap, because in my PPT also I am talking about identification of a gap, which is one of the important aspect before you make a objective. Anybody from your side? I think you people know the flow of the research. First of all, when we decide any theme, we go for a review of literature. And once we have done a review of literature, we will going to identify variables. We can able to identify a variables. And on the basis of that variable, we try to find out whether there is earlier study which will going to stabilize the relationship, or try to find out the differences, or try to find out the impact of one variable on the another variable, to know whether what gap we have identified already achieved by someone else, or it is not yet tapped by anyone. And therefore, review of literature, this is called as initial review of literature, and that will going to give us an area in which we want to do a research. And once we get a research gap, we again go for systematic review of literature. Now try to understand what is the difference between primary ROL and structured review of literature. Suppose I want to do study on some marketing strategies. That is my broad area of research. And after doing a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 100 review of literature, I came to know that in marketing strategies, the discount which is given by company, or offer which is given by a company, plays really very important role to boost your sales. Okay, from 100 research paper I came to know this thing. So my area of research is why this offers plays so important role in boosting the sales of a company. Why this a discount or offer kind of a incentives become a study will be related to know the impact of this offer on the marketing strategies or how it is related or to find out a relationship between discount or offers with marketing strategies. Now after that I will going to do a systematic review to find out whether anybody before me have done similar kind of a study or not. If they already did, then what they have achieved, okay, and in that what they have missed out or what the important link they have missed out. So I will going to target those things. This is one aspect of the study. Second is what they have found. I also want to do a similar kind of a study, but my data set is different. So a review of literature is not only giving me a research gap, but it also provide me how to conduct a study. And on the basis of that, I can able to find out my research objectives. Let have a small example. Today in the morning, I suddenly got a headache. I got a headache. Now, my research question is, or my research gap is, question starts with why. Why headache? What is the reason behind my headache? So I have to find out my